Hundreds on me stop, I'ma run it up. She gon' give it up. I'm like, what is love? Remember I was broke, ain't nobody give a fuck. Hated on the stand, now they love us cause we up. Hundreds on me stop, I'ma run it up. She gon' give it up. I'm like, what is love? Remember I was broke, ain't nobody give a fuck. Hated on the stand, now they love us cause we up.
She ain't fuck with me when I was broke. But rush your block up, go and get a coat. She tryna hang, gotta get a rope. Count dirty money, I need some soap. If you talk out your neck, we come at your throat. Pussy so wet, gotta get a boat. You wanna be like me, then take some notes. All like a player, don't need a coach. My hundreds is blue, but I ain't a low. She tryna control me like a remote. Addicted to money, I'm diagnosed. I ain't wanna fuck, but then she provoked. Asked if I'm in love, and I told her no. Bro, stacking hundreds right in the vote. They all was sleeping, now they awoke. Got the crack for her, she need some dope.
I'ma run it up. She gon' give it up. I'm like, what is love? Remember I was broke, ain't nobody give a fuck. Hated on the stand, now they love us cause we up. Hundreds on me stop, I'ma run it up. She gon' give it up. I'm like, what is love? Remember I was broke, ain't nobody give a fuck. Hated on the stand, now they love us cause we up.
I'm back. We back. Ha. You ain't ready.
Yo, I come through, better come to. Now pick up, finna drop too. Damn, it's so true, keep it up. Catch slipping, gon' get fucked up. I'm on my way, time today for yesterday. Pull up with that Escalade. Only bands can save the day. Extra real, but got no proof. Reppin' up the when you in the booth. Say he trapping, that ain't the truth. Catch you lacking, you slacking too. Not the vibe, yo, that's a lie. Getting by just getting high. You think you fly, but you make them hoes dry. Bitches cry. No DMs to slide, cause you fake. Ain't down to ride, bitch, running high. You wasting all your fucking time.
Yo, we got this. Don't be a crusty ass bitch, you know. Listen, I'm going past it too. It's real.
For the money, bitch, don't test me, you won't pass it. I'm from H-Town if you asking. I'm one deep, no pistol packing. I'm chasing money, ain't no slacking. I'm swinging off the block with ambition. I'ma do my thing before I go missing. Like DJ Screw, we serve sipping. Houston, Texas, trill living. Deuce water, born and raised, so I'ma stay representing till I'm in the grave. Better hate to act right before he misbehaves. And he can pray to God, but he can't be saved. I'm the real deal, I'm Israel. No matter what you feel, I keep it real. Step in the booth, I might getting killed. And I eat good, I don't skip a meal. Never been the one to let a dude talk down. Going up, I don't think I'ma come down. All work, no play, nothing fun now. Got my head up, never put down. Gotta get my money up, cause you ain't living right unless your money's up. I'ma do this, no stopping, it's my way, ain't no jocking. Boys think they can do what I do. Same size, but can't walk in my shoes. I'm a Houston Rocket. For the money going up, and they know they can't stop it. These boys gon' learn a lesson from a Houston Texan with no weapon.
These boys gon' learn a lesson from a Houston Texan with no weapon.
It's real. For the money entertainment. Yo, Shade. Yeah. Houston, Texas to Massachusetts. It's going down.
All right, so not something I do every day, just kind of a fun little stream here for the afternoon. I've got nothing else to do today, so I figured why not go live for everyone and have a little hangout stream, get to talk to everybody. Unfortunately, it's just me today. No Hayden and Michael this time around. We usually do that on weekends. Everyone's working today, so I already did my work. I'm pretty much done for now. So here we are, just kind of just hanging out with you guys here on this. What is today? Tuesday afternoon? Yeah, Tuesday. I forgot what day it is. That's something that has happened due to the pandemic, is I've lost track of what day it is. But Dream Buzz is already in the chat. What's up? What's up? It's kind of funny. This stream's already doing better than last Saturday stream did, which is kind of impressive because it's like I always figured that I would actually get less viewership on like a midweek stream, but apparently I was wrong. So far it's already doing better than last Saturday stream. Granted, last Saturday stream was kind of whack. I've been dealing with a lot of issues trying to get games to function that aren't Among Us, because it's like anything else I try to record or stream on this thing, just for whatever reason can't handle it. So I'm kind of having to trying to figure out exactly trying to get that working so we can do more than just Among Us for subscriber game nights when we do stuff like that here. Of course, gaming isn't kind of this channel's main priority. That's kind of RT2's thing. So yeah, that's kind of that. So I thought I'd just do this little stream for you guys, kind of just like we can talk about some of the cool stuff's going on in the car world right now, because there's a lot going on, as well as just do like a live Q&A thing where people can ask questions and I can kind of answer them to the best of my ability. Of course, there's some stuff I won't answer. So, but yeah, Dream Bus said he's cool like Antarctica. That is a very cold place. Like how cold it is today here in Georgia, for example. It's like 44 outside, and most of the time I wouldn't think that's terribly cold. I opened my door this morning to go take my dog out, and I was like, why is it this cold out here? It has no business being this cold out here. I live in the South. It shouldn't be this cold, even though it really isn't really that cold in the grand scheme of things. It's just I guess the wind chill's kind of a thing. It's really windy today. I was trying to do this off my GoPro because I just remembered that because I brought up wind. But then I realized I'd be sitting in this exact chair anyway. So I was like, what's the point of using my GoPro to stream when I can only stream in 720p? And sure, the mic quality would be fantastic because that Rode mic I've got on there is a freaking champion. But I'm already sitting at my desk. What's the point of not using the freaking computer to stream? So I was like, you know what? I'll just use a computer. It's no big deal. I can just pull it up on my computer, stream like that, pull my webcam out. Because fun fact, the webcam I'm actually using, I don't actually keep on my monitor very often because it actually blocks part of the screen. So I tend to unplug it after every stream and like pack it up somewhere and only pull it out whenever I'm using it for a live stream and stuff like that. But yeah, that was kind of a going off there for a minute. I got tomorrow's video is already scheduled. That should be a good video for you guys. It's kind of a not really a like sport track video specifically. It's more of a kind of talking about the grand scheme of the community in general, because I talk about in the video. I don't want to give too much like background here because it would kind of ruin the purpose of the video to kind of talk about it here versus actually letting my video that I spent 4 takes yesterday recording do the talking. I put way too much work on that video to recording it to give it all away here. But yeah, so that's kind of that. But we talk about the community and unique builds, stuff like what my sport track is, and other people that have built kind of the cars that go against the grain in a way. I guess the way to say it. The people who have built like one of my personal favorites that I've seen recently is the 2.5 Volkswagen Rabbits. The little 5 cylinders and a naturally aspirated. I love those cars. They're incredibly cheap and they're easy to find in manual. Because that's one car I would not buy in an auto. It doesn't get the GTI's dual clutch, so it's like they're really cheap. They don't have a lot of features, which kind of sucks, but they're stupid cheap. They've got a 5-cylinder engine. They're naturally aspirated, which kind of sucks, but that's like one example is like it's a unique kind of thing. Not a lot of people mess with these naturally aspirated Volkswagen Rabbits and are out there having fun with them. So it's like the whole point of the video is talking about unique stuff that not a lot of people mess with, and stuff like the sport track, the Rabbits, The V6 guys, like the Challengers and the Camaros and Mustangs. There's not a lot of people messing with V6s anymore, just because the car community itself has gotten toxic, and that's kind of the whole point of the video, is talking about kind of the toxicity. And I will say first, I'm not perfect. I mean, I have a disdain for Nissan. I mean, I like some of their cars. I like the Skylines. I like I like the S chassis cars and the Pulsar, and that's really about it. I mean, I'm not really a hyper fan of many of their cars. So it's like but um, I'm not going to like the whole point of the video is someone not to judge people for what they drive, and like I wouldn't judge someone if they drove like one of the Nissans I don't like. Most of the VQ platforms I don't like very much. So it's like, if someone was like, "Oh yeah, I drive a G37," I'd be like, "Nice. I hope you're enjoying the car." It's just not something that I would intentionally buy. And that's kind of what I'm trying to teach myself, is because I used to be pretty bad about this. I was, kind of I wouldn't say hypocritical in a way, but I have a lot of disdain for lots of cars. But it's like at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna take it out on the person who buys it, even though I do have cars that were ruined for me by the communities, and that is an example of the VQ platform. I've met a lot of people in the VQ community. I've met like two really cool dudes in the VQ community, and then everyone else I've talked to is just kind of arrogant. So that's why I've like the VQ platform as itself has been ruined for me by that, but. That's not to say everyone with the VQ is like that, and that's why I'm like trying to make pretty clear, like now and in the video, that regardless of what you drive, I mean, it doesn't define you. So that's kind of the whole point of the video, is kind of going into detail the community itself, and why it's okay to build something a little bit different, because there is a lot of arrogance in the car world now. It's not a place you can go and just kind of exist. You have to have this like common ideology of what makes you a car person. You have to have a certain type of car. You have to have a manual, for example. It's like there's so many people out there in the car world, like you can't be a car guy if you don't own a manual transmission, and it's like I don't believe that at all. I've always been a proponent that it's okay to drive an auto, regardless of what it is. I have a personal preference for manuals, and I don't even own a manual car. I just have a personal preference for it. But it's like, not having the manual version of your car doesn't automatically disqualify you as a car guy. That's always been kind of, one of my rules. It's like, to me, I'm giving away too much of the video, but this will be the last I comment on tomorrow's video's topic. I'll let the video do most of the talking, and that is, to me, if it's no matter what you drive, if you like cars, you're an enthusiast. It's not, you have to have the nicest car in the world to be an enthusiast. You don't need to have like a Dodge Demon or an S2000 CR or a Speed 3 or anything like that to be defined as a car enthusiast. You can have a base model Dodge Stratus and still be a car guy. If you go to car events, or you just like cars, you're still a car guy or a car gal, and it doesn't matter what exactly you're driving. That's kind of the whole point of tomorrow's video. So I'll stop talking about that for now and just let tomorrow's video actually do the talking. Because I don't want to, kind of I don't want to just seem the people who are watching this or watching the archive of the stream kind of just getting reiterated what I said in the video tomorrow, So I'm going to let the video do most of the talking, but that's kind of what I'm going over for tomorrow's video, is just kind of a rundown on the community and why it's okay to build stuff that's weird. Because it is. There really isn't a problem with building something weird. I mean, I've done it. I'm literally, the personification of that video. I mean, I've built something that no one else would really build except for me. So, that's kind of the fun part, But I guess we could talk about some car news, because there's been, a lot going on with that. Just like in the past couple of weeks, I know we had with the Mach-E get some updates, which is kind of crazy. Actually, kind of like this new version they're putting out of it, and they had it in this yellow color. I was like, that's actually not too bad looking. I still don't like the fact they give the Mustang name. I like the car outside of that. I think the Mach-E is a good concept. I just don't like its name. The fact that it's the Mustang Mach-E, I get what they're going for. They're trying to make sure that they're trying to play on the brand recognition of the Mustang, but it's like, I don't like the fact they named it the Mustang, To me, Mustangs are two-door sports cars. They could build an electric Mustang coupe, and I'd be like, yeah, that's a Mustang. But, building like this weird electric SUV thing, I don't really look at it as a Mustang. I look at it, I would have liked them to brought over the Falcon nameplate, because the Falcon was a four-door sedan. So I believe there was coupe versions of the Falcon as well in the 60s, when it was actually sold here in the States. But the Falcon is most known for its modern incarnation over in Australia, which was a sedan. And I think it would have been better for them to use the Falcon name or the Fairlane or something like that on the Mach-E. But, at the end of the day, I don't run Ford. I can't judge their decisions, much more than just saying I don't agree with it. So, besides that, though, besides my opinion on the Mach-E as a whole, this new GT Performance Edition is like actually kind of cool. It's like this yellow color's got a lot of black accents to me. I'm a sucker for black accents. I think it fixes a lot of problems that a lot of more flashy cars don't have. A lot of cars these days are so flashy and just have like, they're still sticking with chrome and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not a chrome guy personally. I know people that love chrome, but I'm not one of them. I prefer black. So seeing this new Performance Edition of the Mach-E, it's a mouthful really. The Ford Mustang Mach-E GT Performance Edition. It's like one of the longest names I've ever heard of a car. It's like that village. I think it's in Wales. That's like the world's longest name. I was like, I can't even pronounce it, but it's like I could just imagine having to tell people what you drive. Really, it'd be really cool if someone lived there and had a Mach-E GT Performance Edition. So they have like, I lived in this really long name village and I have a Ford Mustang Mach-E GT Performance Edition. It's like this really long name, but it's like a really cool concept. It makes a ton of power for an electric car. I mean, it makes, I believe, a little bit more power than the base model 5.0 does in the standard Mustang Coupe. But it's a really cool concept. I'm kind of excited to see what Ford does with it and see how it compares to like the Model X and. I believe there's another company that's working on some sort of electric crossover right now. I don't remember exactly who. Stuff like the Taycan as well, the Taycan, how it's pronounced. The electric car scene is actually ramping up a little bit, which is kind of cool. I want to see exactly what happens with that. But yeah, that's like the Mach-E thing. It's like I like it. It's not a bad car per se. I just kind of wish they hadn't given it the Mustang name. The only really aspect I can really criticize it on from like cosmetically, outside of having a Mustang badge on it, is the tri-bars were just, in my opinion, poorly implemented on the back. It's just a little bit too radical for me. Again, I if I hadn't, if it wasn't called the Mustang, I'd have a more traditional headlight style than it would have the tri-bar. But at the end of the day, it's still not a bad car. I mean, I don't hate it. Ford is actually also back on the topic of Ford, because I know that's primarily what this channel revolves around, is Ford people like myself. They are making a competitor to the Dodge 426 supercharged engine that I can't say the name of because I'd get demonetized for it. And they're making a competitor to it with the 7.3 as the base, the new Godzilla engine. So I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. It's going to be, kind of the same concept as that 426 from Dodge. It's just going to be, I would assume, supercharged on the 7.3, which would be kind of scary. Because the 7.3 itself has already proven to be a monster of a modern like mod motor. They're building these hyper 7.3s already in the Fox body chassis, and they're working on the control pack now for the 7.3 to make it a plug and play swap for pretty much anything. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll see Sport Tracks running the 7.3 Godzilla, but because theoretically it would fit. I mean, it's a small pushrod engine, so I mean, the only way to find out is to actually attempt it. So if anyone's out there that's got some money and a Sport Track on hand, let me know how that goes, because I'd probably be more likely to put a 7.3 in it than it would be the 302. Especially if they actually have a control pack available to make it a little bit easier. But yeah, so I mean, I'm excited to see what this Megazilla they're calling it is. I actually looked it up. The standard 7.3 crate engine is actually really cheap compared to like the Coyote. The Coyote, I think, starts at like 8 to like not even 8. I think it's like 10 grand or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the Coyote crate motor costs. I know Voodoo's can get up there in like the 15 to 20K zone. From like a crate motor perspective, and I know most of like the competitors, like the LT, I believe the LT4 and the LT5 are in the 20 to 25K zone, and I know that the 6.2s out of the Dodges are holy crap expensive. I think I saw the Red Eyes engine is like 35 grand brand new from Dodge on a crate. So the 7.3 I think was like $8,500. The standard 7.3 naturally aspirated engine, which can already be a pretty potent engine, is like $8 grand. And I would say for a lot of people that are looking to do swaps, in Fox bodies that are wanting to do a modern engine, but not the Coyote, that it'll be a good option. And are still wanting or people that are looking into LS stuff and are wanting to do a swap that is still Ford, but is kind of the same concept as the LS in a way. I think that's what a lot of people, that's probably what the 7.3 is going to be in the most market for. I think Ford knew what they were doing when they released that engine, because I think they knew darn well that it was going to be an engine they really wanted to use for swaps and stuff like that, like a mod motor kind of thing, like the 302 was in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool to talk about, was the Megazilla engine that's supposed to be this like competitor to the 426. from Dodge. We'll have to wait and see exactly how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of that on the Ford side of things. I think the Charger Red Eye finally got released recently. I've been seeing tons of videos of that pop up as of late, and that's pretty exciting. I've always joked around that Dodge has had so many variants of those of the Charger and Challenger because it's like, they really did. I think there was a while they had like 15 different trim levels of the Challenger to buy. They've really cut down this year. Like I believe you can't even get the SRT 392 anymore. I think the only way you can get an SRT branded Mopar now is if you buy, something like the Red Eye or the standard, Cat. Again, kind of censoring so I don't get demonetized or anything. So I mean, it's a big thing. You need to be able to know that if you're in the market for any sort of Mopar there isn't a SRT 392 anymore. The only way you can get a 392 is through a Scat Pack, which is fine. The Scat Pack's a pretty sweet car. I've had experience. I've driven one briefly. I wouldn't say properly, gone, full tilt and had, my way with it. But, I've briefly driven a Scat Pack, so I can tell you it's pretty fun, even for the little bit I have driven of it. And I, spent a lot of time, in the passenger seats of the same Scat Pack. So it's a very fun car. So, I mean, I wouldn't complain. I mean, a lot of people are probably mad because the SRT technically had a little bit more equipment, but I think, to my understanding, what I would assume would be happening, I don't know this for sure. I think Dodge has probably put a lot of the equipment the SRT had as like an optional extra for the Scat Pack. I'm pretty sure, I think the SRT 392 had like magnetic suspension. I wish Michael was watching because he could tell me on the chat about that. But I think they're probably going to add like magnetic ride and stuff like that as an option for the Scat Pack. It would be kind of nice to incorporate a lot of the features the 392 SRT had. But yeah, I mean, the only way you can get an SRT product now, and I'm not even complaining about it, is through the supercharged cars. Because I did think it was kind of interesting that they had two different versions of the 392, getting the Scat Pack or the SRT. So it's like, I guess it kind of makes sense they'd kill one off, and I guess they chose the one that was more expensive. Dat Car Guy's in the chat, my dude. What is up? What is up? So yeah, that's kind of like that. I think it's kind of interesting to see that Dodge just cut down their lineup so much because they used to have a ton of versions of the Challenger and the Charger, but they've really cut down now. And there's still lots of good options. Like I'm actually strongly considering if I ever do get another car in the future, of throwing Mopar on the list. There's a lot of good options, and they've depreciated quite a bit, so it's a lot more affordable than they used to be. It's actually I find it actually easier for me to be able to get a Mopar than a GM. Which I never thought would happen. I thought Dodges held their value better, but like Camaros and stuff like that are still holding their value so well. I'm still seeing like older 5th gens still in the high teens, low 20s, where most Mopars are starting to fall to the low 20s, kind of starting to dip into the high teens. If you're looking at the V8 models, you can get a V6 for 15 grand right now, like a 2015 and up Challenger for 15, which isn't too bad of a deal, really. I actually kind of like so I've watched a few videos of these supercharged V6s and stuff like that from Mopar, and it's like I think I've underestimated them a little bit because I've always joked around the Pentastar was kind of the last place of the base model muscle cars right now because of the fact that it did make the most power. Of course, that's actually the 2.0 in the Camaro. That's kind of unfortunate. I love the 2.0 Camaro. I think it's a really cool concept, and it's like, it's like the S550 EcoBoost, but with the Camaro body in a way. And I love the 2.0 Camaro. I actually really like the 4-cylinder muscle cars, but the Camaro is technically the slowest if you can go base. And I know their 3.6 is actually a bit of a monster right now in terms of the V6 world. I think they technically have, I think the 3.6 in the Camaro is like almost right there with the EcoBoost in terms of power. I know the EcoBoost is still class leading, I think, in the base model department. But I think I underestimated the Pentastar because I've been watching these videos recently of these RIP supercharged 3.6s, and they are doing some work right now. So it's actually kind of impressive. I'm rather impressed with the 3.6s, the Pentastars. My mom used to drive a Pentastar, so I mean I know a little bit about those engines, and I never really thought that they were like some sort of high-powered performance car, and as I've never thought of it as like an engine that can be capable. And I believe I have been proven wrong by the 3.6 community. They've been proven to be a pretty potent engine. I've seen some pretty crazy builds with the 3.6. So who knows? Maybe that would actually be something I consider. I mean, it was kind of a war the other night. I'll get to that car guys chats here in a second, but the other night, me and the guys were in Discord, and I was telling them I found if I were gonna get a V6 Mopar, like the exact spec that I wanted, which was an SXT Plus and B5 Blue. B5 Blue is my favorite color from Mopar, and it's one of my favorite colors on a car in general, because I mean it makes sense. My favorite color is blue. So it's like it was funny because Hayden and Michael were like kind of butting heads about this, not like butting heads like like arguing and going for the throat or anything, and trying to make things personal. But it was like like Jordan, you should buy the V6. No, you shouldn't buy the V6. No, you should buy the V6. It was kind of a back and forth thing. It was kind of fun to watch. But the like I thought it was just kind of funny because it's the V6 has kind of proven itself, and I get the argument is, the V6, you're going to get made fun of for it, and it's better not to deal with it. Like, that's kind of what the argument was. It was not as much that the V6 sucks as much as it is, it was kind of like, trying to keep me safe because they know I don't like getting made fun of. And so, I mean, it would be a direct kind of like magnet to get made fun of about a V6 in general, whether it be a Mopar or like an older 3.7 from Mustang or even the 3.6 in the Camaro. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, it is actually something I consider now. Is like one of the newer V6 cars because they've really proven themselves in terms of being kind of capable. I mean the 3.7's proven to be pretty potent, and I mean the Pentastar's proven to be pretty good. GM's V6 is pretty good right now, so I mean I would actually consider the V6s. I mean in the perfect world, if I can afford the V8 for the same price as about the same mileage, I'll buy the V8. But I mean if I wanted to save a buck and save money in insurance and gas, I mean the V6 wouldn't be a bad option. That car guy said a new Charger RT here starts at $27K as well as the Challenger. I believe here it's in the low 30s. I have to ask Michael because I believe his was in the mid 30s when he got his 392. Granted, it had 1,000 miles on it when he got it. But they kind of tend to stay a little pricey here. I guess because the Mopar culture in Atlanta is huge. I mean, you go to Caffeine and Octane and they are everywhere. And none of them are really plain, Well, technically, some of them are. When it comes to the Mopar scene in Georgia, it's like there's either the very extreme, heavily modified, heavily customized Mopars, all the heavily modified, chrome wraps, crazy Lambo door Challengers and stuff like that. And then you get the bone stock guys that are kind of keeping their cars kind of close to factory, and they're not doing a whole lot. There really isn't much of an in between. Michael was a kind of a part of that in between crowd when he had his 392. But it wasn't like he wasn't like plain Jane bone stock. I'm not modifying the car, this car's factory, it's fine as is. And he wasn't the, I want 1,000 horsepower right now, kind of guy either. So, Michael's like the 1% of the like Atlanta Mopar scene that I've seen. He's also part of like the most percent that doesn't do interstate takeovers. But I say that one thing I have noticed recently with like the interstate takeovers, it is predominantly done by Mopars. It's like they've kind of become the new Mustang as in terms of like hitting crowds and stuff like that, because a lot of the takeovers that happen in Atlanta, which is kind of a big deal right now. There's tons of stuff going on in the news about these people shutting down the interstate in Atlanta and doing these takeovers. Which I don't want to get on that kind of tangent because I'm very opinionated when it comes to takeovers. I could talk all afternoon about how much I hate them, so I'm trying not to do that. But yeah, I believe that they stay a little bit more expensive than 27. That'd be nice if they were that cheap, because that means when they get used, they get even cheaper. Because I feel like it'd be kind of like the same thing that would happen with the Golf GTI. Dodge saturates their market. They know how to sell, these V8 cars. I mean, that's why, the Cats are not really that expensive anymore. If you buy them used, of course. If you buy them brand new, good luck. You're spending a lot of money. But you can get a used one for, a good bit off. I mean, the ZL1 and stuff like that are holding their value pretty well. Most performance GMs seem to hold their value. But like the Mopars, because they sell so many of them and they saturate the market, they build a lot of them. They just don't sell out, So they just drop value like it's crazy. So I mean, they sold for 27 brand new. I mean, that'd be sweet, because then they'd be low 20s into the teens, within a couple of years, because Dodges tend to take a good depreciation hit, at first. It's very similar to BMW. BMWs take a massive hit on depreciation when they drive off the lot, and Mopars seem to have the same kind of issue. Once they kind of take that initial hit, they don't depreciate very bad, but that initial hit can take a good chunk out of value. And I think that if they were starting for 27 here new, I'd be pretty excited because that means they'd be attainable, like really attainable. The 392 starts at 30 there as well. I believe 392's here. Let me actually go to Dodge's website. I'm not going to pull it up on my screen or anything, but I am going to pull up their website because I want to see exactly how much it costs here. The cheapest 392s we have is like 39, I think, is what Dodge's website is showing. Is like the cheapest way to get a 392 right now, but it's not too bad in terms of in comparison to stuff like the cats, which I believe that starts at 60. So I mean, you're spending a little over 20 grand more for the cat than you would be a scat pack. They also have the 50th anniversary package, which I would totally rock because it's like this cool throwback kind of thing that they've done with it. But I don't have the money to buy a car that's that expensive right now. As cool as it would be, but it's I spend a lot of time just kind of goofing off on car gurus, looking at cars I can't afford. That's kind of a pastime for me. And I spent a lot of time just like I said, looking at cars I can't afford. Maybe one day, if I can get one day if I get a better paying job and have a good bit of time to save up some money and stuff like that, I can be able to get something kind of crazy. But at this moment, that's kind of not the case. And the original video that I was going to upload tomorrow wasn't even about the car community as a whole, but it was about I was talking about the truck had just rolled over 245,000 miles last week. I went out with my girlfriend to take her to go get an eye doctor appointment to go get her eyes checked up. She had her eyes dilated, stuff like that. And we were on our way back to her house after we left the doctor, and the truck rolled over 245. And ironically enough, as that happened, I looked to my right. There's a car dealership in this little backwoods town in Georgia that is so hillbilly. It doesn't make any sense that there would be this kind of dealership there. Had tons of modified performance cars and a Sport Track Adrenaline Gen 2 in black that was sitting on the lot. And I was like, wow, okay, the irony. I'd be passing an Adrenaline as I hit 245K. But I would almost I noticed it a little late, but I probably would have asked her if I could have stopped in and just looked around for a minute because it was a really cool dealership and I did not expect to see it there in that city out of all places. But yeah, I was talking about since we're on the topic of new cars and everything like that. It was I was on the topic of what I should do because I talked earlier this year that the truck was having a lot of the beginning signs of timing chain issues. It's kind of the signature 4.0 problem is timing chains. So I was I made a whole video series earlier this year. It was just what should I do? What am I going to do? Why I'm not going to swap it? Why I might swap it? I had all these things I was talking about at the beginning of the year. I'd even ran Instagram polls and stuff like that to see what the community thought I should do, whether I should 5.0 swap or stay 4.0 or something like that. And I'd eventually decided to just kind of, let it be right now and just do full bolt-on, which is what I wound up doing. But now that that's done, I'm pretty certain that next year, unless I can get convinced otherwise, there probably will be a new engine, kind of basic starting. It will not be as quick as I would have liked. My whole plan was to kind of get an engine and have it built within a month or two, but money isn't going to be quite on my side this upcoming year. So at least the beginning of the year when I would be starting the project. So I mean, it wouldn't be something I could just knock out in a month, and there's tons of stuff I need to take care of too. So I mean, it'll kind of be the last kind of option. But my plans, and of course, nothing ever goes to plan with me, as you guys have seen over the last almost 6 years. Holy crap! I just realized I actually passed my 6th year on YouTube just a couple days ago. I forgot. My channel is now 6 years old. I've been on YouTube for 6 years, a little over, I believe 3 days ago. So yeah, that's fun. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The whole thing with the engine project, it gets pushed back every year because it's I'll be ready to go and then I'll find out something is too expensive, or I'll be ready to go and then something else will come up and it'll take one more money. When the transmission grenaded a couple years ago, or actually no, that was last year. Sheesh. Last year I'd had every intention of starting an engine project, and the transmission grenaded. All that money went to replacing the transmission. I couldn't do anything. So this year rolls around. I'm ready to start the engine project, and then I find out it's going to cost me $6 grand to do. To get a not even rebuilt engine put in it and just bone stock engine, call it a day. So then I was like, I could kind of just buy an engine and build it myself in my garage or in my basement, whatever, and kind of like learn over time what I'm doing. And kind of just build it piece by piece. And I figured that would probably be the best option. But then again, I was a bit paranoid about cost. So I wound up just being like, you know what? Let's have some fun with it. Let's go full bolt on, have something that's enjoyable to drive for a minute, and just have a good time. And this upcoming year, whenever I start, having some money to play around with again, my goal is mainly to kind of take care of a lot of just the gremlins of the truck. I'm hoping that I can get the wrap done around then. I have to see how money's looking. Because that's kind of a priority. I want to get it done. I've had the vinyl for several months now, and I haven't been able to actually, get towards getting all the body work done. Because the truck does need a little bit of body work. I wouldn't say it needs a lot, but there's some sanding we have to do. We need to do some corrections on the paint, to get it ready to go. But there's not really a whole lot left to do. So I'm hopeful that we can kind of get that ball rolling around March. But I don't know for sure. We'll have to kind of see how life is going by then, and we can kind of figure out then as we go whether the wrap can finally happen. Because that's something I really want to do. It's killing me. I've had that vinyl wrap since the middle of the year, and it's been sitting in my closet. And I haven't revealed the color to you guys or anything, and that's kind of my intention, is to keep it kind of a secret until it's on the truck, because I do not want to, at this point, especially because I've already kept it a secret this long, I definitely don't want to show you guys now. Maybe if enough people begged me, to reveal it, then maybe I would do it as like a quick little, here you go, all right, and then delete the video after. I'd probably do it on like a live stream, kind of like this, not this stream. But, if plenty of people asked me enough, I probably would be like, yeah, here it is, and then just immediately delete the video afterward so no one sees it outside of like the few people that would be watching the stream. That was kind of the whole idea, really, for a little while, was to reveal it on stream and then delete it afterward, because that's kind of what That Dude in Blue did when he revealed the Drift Cars engine a few years ago, was he showed it on stream and then was like, shh, and then deleted the video. So, that's probably what I would do. I'd probably be like, oh yeah, here's the final, guys. Hope you like it, and then delete the video where no one else can see it. Am I going to do that? I don't know just yet. I haven't decided. But it is killing me. I want to get it done. It's been on my mind for a while, because it's like, it's a big transformation for the truck. It won't look so dated and old and kind of beat up. The paint is kind of rough on it. So it's like getting a fresh layer of color and it not looking so bad and, banged up and, looking like a 250,000 mile truck. It'll look pretty good. It'll look like a factory truck. Then I'll have to kind of deal with all the other gremlins the truck will have. I still need to get the AC compressor replaced and get the AC system, kind of purged and, get it taken care of so it's not running so bad. And then I need to get the, what else I need to deal with? I need to get the headliner replaced, and that'll be done post-wrap. That is something that is happening post-wrap. I want to get the windows tinted still. That was still on my radar to get done a long time ago. It just didn't wind up working out because of the move and stuff like that. As well as like a couple other things. I can't remember everything that I'd wanted to get done off the top of my head, but that was kind of like the main thing, was getting the AC fixed, and that is still something I really want to take care of. So probably, around March, I'll be able to start making some phone calls and seeing, how much each thing will cost and what I need to do. Because, of course, maintenance is kind of priority. If I can get, the maintenance done, if I can get the AC replaced and stuff like that, get that fixed, we'll be golden. And that's kind of my main priorities in that fix. It'll be around springtime anyway, and I need my AC. I suffered through this summer not having it, so I would like to have it. And eventually, I do want to do my interior refresh. I still have that on my radar of things I want to do. I've got an idea with going through leatherseats.com and getting new upholstery put in the truck. Replace the bucket seats with the original seats again. And put new foam and put a heated and cooled functionality in the fronts at least, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable and stuff like that, a little bit more modern touches. So it'll be this kind of full bolt-on build. It'll be kind of rowdy if you get on it, but it's something that I can still cruise in and have a good time in and be comfortable. And I've even thought about changing the wheels, which I haven't really decided if that's actually something I'm going to do. Because I do love my Motives. They're great wheels. I just hate the fitment, and they don't make spacers that can be safely ran on it, because it's a plus 40 or plus 44 offset on those wheels. So I mean, I would need some mad spacers. I think zero offset in the rear is kind of flush. So I mean, I would need some massive spacers, and I don't think they make any spacers that are that big that are safe. So yeah, I'd have to get new wheels, and I've already got my eyes on some sets that I really like. I found some 5 spokes that are kind of concaved, which is kind of the style I want to go with. On the truck, if I were to replace the motives, I want something a bit more simple. I'd even debated going silver. So I mean, I kind of think I'm going to stay with black, but I think it'll be, if I do change the motives out, it'll be for like a more simple style. It'll be something more like a concave 5 spoke, something like that. And the wheels I like are actually kind of are not, they're not replicas in terms of like, like a Rhoda or a I think Advin 1 or Advent or whatever, whichever one it is, kind of thing. But it's a replica of a factory wheel. So I think it'd be kind of cool to bring over this like style of like a concave 5 spoke to it that technically is a factory design and isn't something. It's not a Ford design, but it's a factory design that I've always kind of liked. So I'm not sure on that one either. That's kind of a thing where if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I won't be too mad because again, I like my motives. They're not bad wheels, and even if I do replace the wheels, my dad's probably gonna get the motives. If I replace those wheels, I'm not selling those. They're going straight to my dad because that is a Mustang fitment. So I mean, plus 40, plus 44 is kind of a Mustang fitment anyway. So I think for his car, it'd work pretty well. The burgundy and black would be a pretty good scheme for that car. And my dad's had, those stock 15 or 16s, whichever the Mustang actually runs factory forever. And I think it's killing him. I think he wants wheels. So, I mean, if I ever do replace the motives with something different, he'll get the motives. That's kind of a no compromise thing. He's getting those wheels if I get new ones. I will never sell those wheels. I really like those wheels. They mean a lot to me. They've got a lot of value to me. But at the same time, I do kind of want to switch it up and get some better fitting wheels. And that's why it's like, again, if I replace them, they ain't getting sold. I mean, they'll go straight to my dad. Because I want his car. I love helping people with their builds. So it's like, if I can give people hand-me-down parts, parts that I know fits their cars and, I don't need anymore and I don't, that I don't want to sell. But I don't mind giving it to someone I trust and know, or really like. That's kind of something I like to do. I mean, for example, Hayden's Ranger, when I got my Sony radio, my CarPlay radio, my old Sony single din that I had, I gave it to Hayden, and I was like, I'll even help you install it. So I went over to his house one day, brought the radio, brought this stuff to install it, unplugged his factory radio, popped the radio out, plugged in the single din in his dash kit, plugged it right in, and bam, he had a brand new radio in that truck. So that's kind of always something I like doing is kind of if I have parts that fit other people's cars in the group. For example, Hayden's Ranger and my truck are so interchangeable because they're practically the same thing. A lot of my hand-me-down parts will go to him. And for example, my wheels, if I ever did replace the motives, like I said, my dad's car would get those wheels because that is a Mustang fitment. It's, the same bolt pattern because thankfully the Mustang runs 5x114.3 because nothing seems to run 5x114.3 that I would buy anymore. It's like a lot of the cars I look at are actually like 4x100, 5x120, kind of stuff. But I think if I ever did get rid of the motives, my dad would get those wheels for sure. Because I like the motives. But I'm also, looking to get new wheels. But yeah, that's kind of that. It's Miguelito, bro. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. What issues does the 4.0 currently have, and is your engine or transmission slipping? My 4.0 in specifics is not really having a lot of issues outside of the timing chain rattle and startup. It's not missing or anything like that. It did have a pretty bad misfire for a while, but at the moment, mine is doing just fine outside of that timing chain rattle startup and this weird kind of like noise coming from the crank pulley zone, which is a common issue. The 4.0s tend to have a really bad crank pulley, so especially the older ones like the push rod and the early single cams. So it's kind of a common issue that not a lot of people know about is the crank pulley. So outside of those issues, my engine's fine. I'm not having any issues with it. Transmission's not slipping. I just had that replaced last year, and it's been a trooper. The only time it really slips is when it's cold out. If it's really cold out and it hasn't gotten a chance to get some fluid going through it and heat it up, then it'll slip a little bit. But I'm also smart and don't floor my vehicle when it's cold. So as long as you give it time to warm up, like mine doesn't have any issues specifically. But outside of that, really, mine's been fine, and I haven't had any issues out of it, and no complaints. I have no complaints at all. But yeah, like in terms of my build specifically, outside of like the thought process of doing the wheels and doing interior modifications and stuff like that, the wheels are kind of again, um, it's like this weird thing where it's like I can't decide exactly what route I want to go with it. If I do want to replace them, or if I just kind of want to stick with them because it's like I've had them since I graduated. It was a graduation gift from high school, so it's like a kind of important gift to me. I've had them. Gosh, was it 3 years? I think, yeah, 3 years. So I've really enjoyed those wheels. So I don't know for sure if I get rid of them, but that's kind of the hard part. Is it's like I have a lot of like what's the word I'm looking for? I think it starts with an S. Sentimental. I have a lot of sentimental value for those wheels, and so I'm like not even entirely sure I would want to get rid of them. But I do have my eyes on some really nice 5-spokes for the truck if I ever did replace them. I love your videos. Keep modding your 4.0 for more content. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's the plan. Things are going to still roll for it. Like I was just saying, there's not really a lot left I can do because it's kind of reached like the maximum amount of stuff I can do without doing an engine swap or boosting it. And I'm not boosting the engine that's in it right now because it's got 245,000 miles, and that's kind of a death wish. Granted, I will say, knock on particle board and actual wood over here, it's not burning oil. And I will gladly brag about that because everyone I know that's around 200K is burning oil. Even the Kia that my brother drives, which was originally for my cars, the red car, a lot of people refer to it on the channel, is burning oil. I have not. I'm pretty proud of that. Again, knock on actual wood and particle board just for good measure. But I don't seem to be having issues with that right now. But with it like entirely with the engine itself, outside of that timing chain thing. But anyway. Like I said, it's kind of in a hard spot now because it's like there's not really a lot left to do. I mean, I don't really know what else I can do besides like kind of improve, what it is now. Like I know performance-wise, it's kind of at its end until I build a new engine for it and boost it if I go that route. Which again, I'm not entirely sure. Like I talked about in the original runs for what's going to be tomorrow's video before I changed the topic to the car community. I'm pretty sure that if I can get the money right and everything lines up my way this upcoming year, I can get my maintenance work done on the truck, get the AC compressor replaced, and kind of deal with like a little bit of the other gremlins. Hopefully, get the wrap done. But if money is there, I plan on buying a 4.0 and an engine stand and stuff like that, and beginning to tear it down and build a new engine for it. That's kind of my goal, is to hopefully have money in hand to where, around this time next year, I'll be putting the final touches on this new engine for my truck. That'll be ready to go in around this time, around March or April of the year after next. So like 2022. So no guarantees on that, but that is kind of what I want to do is, I think, because my original plan was to get a new job around this time this year. I got a little spooked because my job right now works really well with my school schedule. Really well. Literally, I don't work if I'm anywhere. If I have classes most days, I don't work on those days. That's how good they work around my schedule. And while it doesn't help my paychecks very much, it does. It kind of does. It works for my school schedule. It helps me out a lot. And there are, of course, some days when I still work on like school days and stuff like that. But it's nice to not have to worry about it so much because it gives me time to work on schoolwork, be a student and, go forward my education. But I was planning on getting a new job around this time earlier this year, or like not around this time, earlier this year. But I got spooked. I had a really tough week at school one week and it spooked me. And I was like, okay, I can't do it. So I was just like, that didn't work out, and I was going to save up to buy a new car, finally take the plunge into car payments and buy a new car, but I spooked myself out of it, and that didn't really happen, and I think I am happy not having car payments, so I think I'll just keep the truck, fix it, just keep driving it until it just, I don't know, disintegrates into dust one day. The bird, I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I'm just going to say the bird, I'm sorry. What are some signs whenever the timing chain is going out? Lately, I've been hearing some sort of rattle when I accelerate from time to time. I've got an O2 track with 117K miles. Love your videos. First off, nice on the low mileage. I'm jealous. that is actually a sign the timing chain is starting to give some issues. The guides that they use in the timing chains are notorious for kind of just going out whenever they feel like it. It's not really a mileage thing as much as it is kind of a you just gotta hope it doesn't go out on like in just on random one day. And it sounds like if you're hearing a rattle when you're accelerating from time to time, that the timing chain isn't getting enough oil pressure and is kind of rattling, or that guide is going bad. What I would do first to kind of eliminate that issue, it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier than doing the chain job, would be to, since you've got such low mileage, what I would do is do the exterior timing tensioners. Monday86 did a whole video on this, so that's why I'd recommend to go check out. Monday's a really cool guy. I've gotten to talk to him a couple times. He does really good tutorial videos, and that's why I don't do a lot of tutorial videos, because, like I've said before, I don't like stepping on other people's toes. If someone else has already done a tutorial video, I don't want to do a tutorial video and ruin what they've done. So that's what I would do, is do the exterior tensioners first. And then if you're still hearing it, then I'd start saving some money and get ready to do a time chain job, because they aren't cheap. Like I said, I think the cheapest quote I got for the time chain job was like almost $3,000. So I mean, you just got to be able to either be ready to pull that motor, or if the tensioners don't work, and that doesn't solve your issue. But that's what I would do personally, to start with. Again, you've got such low mileage, I don't think your chain would be struggling with any sort of chain stretch or anything. So that's what I would do personally, is deal with the exterior tensioners first. It's like $80 for the set, and you'll be set. That kind of was interesting, how that wordplay worked out. But that's what I would do. Check that first, and if that doesn't work, then I'd start getting ready to tear your motor down, because that'll suck. Tearing down motors is not a fun process. Trust me. I'm about to, like I said, if money works with me, finally, I'll finally be able to do that, and I'll probably be able to tell you it'll suck. But yeah, check those exterior tensioners, and those should be able to help. I appreciate the help. Oh yeah, I forgot about the exterior tensioners. It's no problem at all. Like I said, I'm not a guru with these trucks. I don't know everything. But, some of the stuff I know, I'll be more than happy to kind of share and try to help. I'm no genius when it comes to these trucks. I'm not a Ford tech. I don't know, everything, but I'm learning. Considering doing a 5.0 swap with an Explorer motor, please get a donor vehicle. Do not do it part by part. You will spend way too much money and way too much time. Get a donor vehicle. Just do it the right way. Get a donor vehicle. Get ready to spend some time in the garage, because it is a very simple swap, because a lot of the parts are interchangeable, because they're practically the same car underneath. But they still have some differences, and so it is still going to take some time, but it's not impossible. But it's probably the easiest swap you can do. But make sure to have a donor vehicle on hand, because it'll save you some money, because you won't have to go to like part stores every 5 seconds having to spend all this money on these other parts. You'll have those parts sitting in your garage with the donor vehicle you buy, so you can just pull it out of the other car and just done. It's a pretty simple swap. But yeah, that's why I'm not doing it. Is like it's I don't have enough room for a donor vehicle. I've barely been able to talk my parents to let me get a project car, and I still think they won't let me get it. But our HOA is very strict on having how many cars you have on the property. Again, why I don't like HOAs. So that's kind of why I haven't got a project car. It's not as much that my parents don't want me to have one, because it's something I really want. And they would usually if it's most stuff that I want, they'd be like, if you work for it and buy it yourself, why not? But this is one of those things the HOAs kind of got us kind of hung up where I can't do that. So and it's kind of the same thing. I can't get a donor vehicle, because I think it'd be one thing if I had a project car that kind of sat out in the driveway and ran and drove and could do its thing, versus a donor vehicle that would show up to the house in a pile of parts and would be wrecked more than likely and wouldn't run very well, at least. I mean, I would hope it would run if I'm going to use its engine, but isn't something I can. It's junk, right? It's a junk car, and you're just using it for the engine and transmission and all the electrical stuff. So it's that's why I haven't done it. I think our HOA would lose their minds if they saw this rusted out '95 Delmont Explorer that's got a bent rear end sitting in my driveway. Actually, it's funny. If I ever got another older Explorer platform, I probably would be a Mountaineer or a Explorer with the 5.0 in it. That probably would be what I would do. I probably would. I love that or Explorer Sport. I like the 2-door. So if I were gonna get another of this kind of platform that I'm running right now, it would probably be something like that. But yeah, that's kind of the rundown on the 5.0 swap from my perspective. It's again, you just easy swap. but just be prepared to spend some time in the garage because while it's not impossible or insanely difficult, it is still time consuming. Make sure you have all your tools and stuff ready to go because it's not and also invest in a Haynes repair manual. I did it recently. It will save you so much time. I promise you. It will help you a lot with, when you have both motors out, you're swapping everything over. Because the Haynes manual that the Sport Track uses is actually the exact same one that the 9501 Explorer uses. They're all under the same book. So you'll have a lot of the information you'll need for the swap in that book, and it'll be able to tell you everything. So invest in a Haynes manual if you don't already have one. I did it because I'm so sick of having to Google everything. It's nice being able to just open a book and there's my information I need. But yeah, don't know if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about in terms of like a general topic for me to chat about. My throat's a little sore, so I apologize. Nice. I just spilled water over myself. Y'all saw that on stream. It's fun. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, we talked about the Mach-E for a minute. We talked about the Megazilla. We talked about Mopars. We talked about how ZL1s and ZR1s hold their value and stuff like that. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah. So speaking of cars that kind of correlate to the channel, S2000s. There's been a lot of rumors recently. Honda's bringing back the S2000, which is kind of exciting because me and Hayden, and I believe Michael even too, we've all been kind of mad ever since, we found out that the car was kind of like this kind of a shelved thing that, Honda probably wasn't going to bring back. We all love the S2000 here. So it's like, we hear rumors that they're getting ready to build another one in a couple years, and we're like, oh, yes, sir. We get excited, so I'm sitting here the other night just kind of browsing on my phone, and I come across a Car and Driver article. It's like, Honda's thinking of building a new S2000 in 2024, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I literally screenshot it and sent it to Hayden, and I was just like, I was hyped because it's like, Hayden owns an S2000, so it's kind of a cool thing to kind of be like, they're doing it again and they're bringing it back. It's gonna be great. Of course, there's a lot of like stuff that's up in the air about it. There's rumors it'll probably be either electric or a hybrid, because a lot of sports cars nowadays they're only being built through partnerships. They got the Toyota and Subaru partnership with the BRZ and the 86. You've got Toyota and BMW for the Supra. I'm trying to remember who else is in cahoots with each other for some of the other project cars that are out there. A lot of performance cars. Mazda and Fiat for the 124 and the Miata. So it's like, it's a partnership world now. It's like all these companies are getting together, and the only company that Honda has a partnership with is GM for electric cars. So like the only way it would really make sense is for them to do a hybrid of sorts or some sort of just full electric EV S2000, which would kind of be, kind of blasphemous in a way because it would kind of go against what the S2000 was. This like electric, not electric, but this like high revving, naturally aspirated car that made a good bit of power. It was a pretty peppy 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated. I think it was like one of the best performing naturally aspirated 4-cylinders in history. So there's rumors it'll be electric. There's rumors it'll be powered by the Type R's engine, which is what I would personally prefer. Because it would kind of still assert its dominance over the Miata, just like it did all those years ago. Because it was kind of always considered the S2000 to be the Miata that's like 10 times better. So I would kind of consider it if they use the Type R engine as the only engine option for the new S2000 to be like the best way to go. So I don't know. I'd like to see what exactly Honda pulls out of their hat, if that's even a true rumor. Because again, it's a rumor at this point. It's not something that is confirmed legit. But it did get me pretty excited when I read it. That's for sure. I was like, yes, I love the S2000. So I'd be pretty excited to see it come back and be a big name again. But yeah, I think I'm about ready to wrap this stream up here. Thank you all for tuning in for this little hour long kind of just talking with me and having fun and doing some Q&A stuff like that. New video drops tomorrow. We'll talk about all the cool things about building a unique car that no one else builds. Why it's okay in the modern car world, because the car scene, like I've said, is toxic, and it's kind of refreshing to see stuff that's different every once in a while that isn't, the kind of cars that everyone builds. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I will see you guys tomorrow's video, and of course, we'll do another one of these live streams on Saturday night. Take care, guys. Stay safe and have a good day.